bouncer over Weston's head. Here comes Bill Ripken, a great play. Got him! And this is hit deep to left. Jones is back, looks up, kiss it goodbye. The infield is in with a runner at third and one out. Bouncer to first. Cal Ripken's going to try to score. Kittle's through and he's saved.
Right now, Safeway is selling postage stamps for less than face value.
Is that legal?
Just buy a Safeway Stamp Savers book. You get 12 stamps that cost you $3 at the post office, but only $2.70 at Safeway.
That's not legal, is it?
Plus coupons on famous brands for valuable savings.
Does the Postmaster General know about this?
Actually, yes. The Stamp Savers book, in cooperation with the U.S. Postal Service. Only at Safeway.
Biscuit! You'll never make it! $7.58, Jeff. 2-minute warning. Couldn't do it, huh?
Get a sausage and egg biscuit, biscuits and gravy, or bacon and egg biscuit for just 99 cents at Hardee's. Go for it.
A view of the White House, downtown Washington, D.C., and it is a hot night at the Capitol Center, and the Washington Capitals, with this series tied 1-1, come out firing, and after one period of play, lead it by a score of 4-1. John Druce with a pair of goals. The Capitals scoring twice on the power play, and it's our pleasure to welcome the president, team president of the Washington Capitals, Mr. Dick Patrick. And Dick, maybe we should have arranged to have you on a little bit earlier on this season, because that is one of the most spirited first periods we've seen this Washington Capitals hockey team play all season long.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I'd like to take all the credit for that. I'm sure the reason that I'm here is why we got those 4 goals. But it was a great period. It was a different period with 2 shorthanded goals, and right now everything's going our way, and I just want to get the next 2 periods underway and see more of the same thing.
You and I were talking before the game, the fact that obviously the Capitals would miss Dino Ciccarelli, but you talked in terms of just how much of a team game hockey is. Your family goes back. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the Capitals really came out as a team, and we saw certainly the fruits of that first period team effort. John Druce coming through with a pair of goals.
Well, the whole game is based on that. It is a team game. There's no more important member on our team than Dino Ciccarelli, but you can say that about a number of people. John Druce, he's been playing real well. He did it again tonight. We all want Dino Ciccarelli in there, but we're all happy with our chances with whatever we have in there.
301-499-6600. Any questions or comments for the president of the Washington Capitals, Mr. Dick Patrick? And while this is a rare opportunity for us to talk to Dick, so your questions and comments would certainly be welcome. But Dick, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk in terms of the great hockey tradition in the Patrick family. And I don't think there's any mixed feelings here. The Rangers and the Patricks are synonymous for hockey in the New York area. But Dick Patrick, as president of the Washington Capitals, we know where his allegiance lies tonight and in this series.
I hope nobody has any doubt about that. I know I've made it clear since I've been involved with the Capitals, and I hope by this point I have my parents turned around and rooting for us, although I saw Neil Smith for the Rangers beforehand, and he claims he's going to be calling my father and try to get him to still pull for the Rangers, but I think he's got a tough job doing that.
I bet he does. 301-499-6600. Great period of play. And how about a guy like John Druce? And what is it about the playoffs? I was asking Dino Ciccarelli in the pregame show. Here's a guy like John Druce seeing limited action during the regular season, really coming to the front in the forefront here during the Stanley Cup playoffs. And again tonight, the opportunist scoring Dino Ciccarelli-type goals, and a pair of them.
Well, I mean, the big difference is what you said earlier, just a minute ago, about limited opportunities. I mean, John Druce has been getting better, every year. He was number 2 draft choice. Our scouts thought a lot of him, and he's not a real quick developer. I mean, he's always progressed every year. This year, when he's on the team, he was playing 3rd line, 4th line, the odd shift. I think first power play I remember him on this year was against Philadelphia when we tied up there and made the playoffs when he got a goal. He's getting more opportunities now. He's making the most of them, and that's what hockey's all about. And he's doing just a great job. And I don't think he's got a goal from further than 5 feet away. And that's the whole thing with him. He has to go right to the net and take advantage of what's there. And he's a big guy. He can skate. He can carry the puck, and he's doing it.
Let's go to the phone lines. And Greg from Gaithersburg, our first call here on Home Team Sports. And Greg, welcome.
Yes, I'd like to know why isn't Mike Richard playing for the Capitals right now?
Mike Richard's playing in Baltimore with the Skipjacks, and really, I talked to Doug McLean earlier on, and Mike's not 100%. I think the Capitals certainly look at Mike Richard, much like they look at so many of the players who are playing in Baltimore right now, as possibly a future prospect. Patrick?
Yeah, Mike's played very well this year. There's no problem with him. He had been injured earlier, and right now they felt that Rob Murray was a better fit for tonight. But Mike Richard, he could have been here tonight. He could be here on Wednesday night. He's right there. We consider him a player we can put in at any time and part of the team. And there's a big difference between the American Hockey League and the National Hockey League and the little things, and he's getting better all the time, like we talked about John Druce earlier, and we hope he plays a lot of games for the Capitals.
Paul from Frederick, you're on Home Team Sports with Dick Patrick, and welcome.
Yeah, I'd just like to know if Don Beaupre gets injured, or if Don Beaupre doesn't come back, and Lemieux gets injured, who are you going to use?
Well, that's a question that Dick Patrick and I were just discussing here. Dick, why don't you take a shot at it?
Well, we thought for a while about using Jeff here, but Jeff decided that wasn't going to be his career. There are rules, I'm told I'm not even up on them right now as far as dressing other people, but right now Baltimore's in the middle of a game. I think what we'd probably do would be go to another player on the bench. A few years ago, we had Craig Laughlin slotted in one of those situations when another fellow got hurt. It might be that right now David Poyle's trying to bring over a goaltender from Baltimore, but I don't know, I haven't seen him between periods.
Baltimore does have a third goaltender, and that's Sean Simpson, another Washington Capital draft choice. Perhaps he was summoned by the Caps general manager, and as Dick said, the Capitals will have some kind of announcement, we are told here, during the intermission, and I'm sure Mike and Al will pass along that word as soon as they get it, but in all possibility, the Capitals may in fact head to Baltimore and bring up Sean Simpson for tonight's backup role. Again, when a goaltender does in fact get injured, you can dress another goaltender, but in the absence of another goalie, as Dick Patrick points out, the Capitals could designate one of their players, and you hope that doesn't happen, but a player could be designated as a goaltender in the absence of a backup goalie now to Mike Lemieux. Let's continue on the phone lines, and we've got Jay on Home Team Sports. Jay, welcome.
Yes, hi. How are you doing this evening?
We're doing well, thank you.
Well, my hat's off. I must tell you, I'm watching the game here. I see Beaupre out. I see Cicerelli hurt. I'm thinking, geez, that's like the Redskins losing their quarterback and kicker, but you guys are doing an excellent job. Also, I'd like to find out, how bad is Dino's injury, and exactly what day will we win the Stanley Cup on?
Oh, there's a couple of good questions, Dick.
Well, the first question I heard as far as how bad is Dino's injury is, I consider it a very serious injury. There's nothing that right now requires an operation, and they're hoping for things to get better, but he's immobilized now, and they'll take another look at his leg in probably about 10 days, so it's certainly for the rest of this series, and we're hoping we'll make it some good news then, but there's no indication we will get good news, so right now we're just planning to play here on out without Dino.
And as far as the second question is concerned, I don't think it makes a difference to any of the Washington Capitals or the management on what day they win the Stanley Cup, preferably sometime this spring.
That's right. We just want to make it on a day in 1990.
There you go. Manassas, hello.
Hello.
You're on Home Team Sports, and welcome.
Just wanted to say to Dick Patrick, he looks fine. The last time I saw him was about 20 years ago when he played for the Washington Chief with my husband, Kenny Lewis. It's the first time I've seen him on TV. It's been about 20 years. He looks quite prosperous.
He looks a lot better than he did 20 years ago.
I think.
I don't know. He was a lot taller. All I can remember is that his socks kept falling down.
I think when she says I look quite prosperous, she probably means I put on some weight, but thank you for the compliment anyhow.
Dick, thank you for the visit. Let's hope the Caps continue where they left off here in this first period. Stay tuned. Washington Capitals hockey ahead here on Home Team Sports, and the Caps with a 4-1 lead after 20 minutes.
So what would have been so terrible if I had a small fortune?
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy-biddy-boom. If I were a wealthy man, hey, I wouldn't have to work hard. All day long I'd biddy-biddy-boom. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard.
Oh, no matter what you do, trust that I'll be there for you. You can depend on me, yeah. Feel the power of a friend. Know that time and time again. You can depend on me.
New improved Kodak batteries last longer than ever. So when you need us, we'll be there.
You can depend on me.
New Kodak batteries. Depend on us to last longer.
I'm going to give me your watch, your wallet, give me everything.
It's not just another television show.
Help me! Somebody!
Before you went down, was his voice coming from above or was it coming from below?
It's a no-holds-barred look
I don't know. It happened so fast.
at the real world of big city law.
A woman gets murdered on the street in front of an assistant district attorney, and you can't get a murder indictment?
How many times could we have stopped him before he killed her?
Equal Justice, Wednesday on ABC Television.
Right now at Jiffy Lube, you'll get great service and great savings with the Pennzoil Car Care Savings Book. It's filled with coupons that can save you over $80 on helpful car care products. And it's yours free with any oil change using the world-class protection of quality Pennzoil. So come by participating Jiffy Lube today. Get a fast, professional oil change with quality Pennzoil and your free Pennzoil Car Care Savings Book.
Tuesday is Ladies' Day at Jiffy Lube. Come by for a 14-point service and a special surprise just for the ladies.
Washington Capitals game coverage on Home Team Sports is brought to you by Safeway. Come see the difference at Safeway. Well, the Washington Capitals have built a 4-1 lead over the New York Rangers here in Game 3 of the Patrick Division Finals. We welcome you once again to our Stanley Cup playoff coverage here on Home Team Sports. They're ahead in goals 4-1, but the Caps are dropping like flies out there.
Yeah, right now they started off the game without Dino Ciccarelli, without Michael Vabanka. Still have no official word on Don Beaupre, but the players that are in there are doing an unbelievable effort. They're dominating the New York Rangers right now.
Let's take a look at the shot chart for the Washington Capitals in the first period and just see that sort of domination. Out of those 15 shots, look how many of those came from right in that goal crease for the goals.
Well, that's a great point, Mike. You know, you're in a situation where the Washington Capitals doing such a good job of crashing the net, getting rebounds, getting everything going. They got something clicking on the power play, and that was a big factor. And I thought one of the keys was the power play face-off. Now, right here, you've got the battle going on between Janssens and Hunter. Hatcher's over here, and out of the picture also is Calle Johansson. But watch how quickly Hatcher gets it to Johansson, and Johansson's unable to gain the New York Rangers zone. A very nice face-off play, and one of the most important things on the power play is obviously gaining the zone. And there goes Calle Johansson into the zone. Now he's able to get it in, and the Capitals start off with quality chances. Richter's under the gun right off the bat, and keep your eye on John Druce in front. There comes the shot. Now stop it right here. You see what happens. Look how Druce has battled his way into position, and again, he'll be patient. The puck comes bouncing down, and he'll flip it up high once Richter goes down. The stick handling abilities of John Druce has been unbelievable lately, and there's a big goal to keep his hot streak going and get the Capitals on the lead tonight, 1-0. Then watch how this 3-on-2 is run. Here's Druce with the puck. Here's Dale Hunter. And look how Courtnall does the nice thing. He crisscrosses in as Hunter goes this way, and how Courtnall then gets the step on that man, which is King. Now stop it right here. You see what Hunter's done. He's taken his player out, and that advantage that Courtnall has, Druce recognizes it, throws him the perfect pass, and Jeff Courtnall just turns and fires right between the pads of Mike Richter. That's a nice 3-on-2. Instead of just coming down the lane straight, you do a little crisscrossing, find the opening, and that's exactly what the Capitals did. They were off 2-0. Here's how they make it 3-0. Hatcher's up here. Courtnall's down here. Hunter is tying up with Rochefort, and down here is John Druce, who will get this pass and make his walkout. But keep your eye on what goes on with Dale Hunter and Normand Rochefort in front. Out comes John Druce, and you'll get that shot. Now stop it right here. You see how Richter is going to get taken down, and look at the job Hunter does as Druce just swings around, and when that puck comes out, he's got a wall of protection, almost like a quarterback working under a good blocker. That's all Dale Hunter's doing. He's just blocking the way, and once again, John Druce showing great patience and a nice touch to put that puck away in the top shelf.
The Rangers did get one goal, and it was a shorthanded goal, but as we take a look at their shot chart, you can see that the penetration was nothing like what Washington had, although they had some chances.
They did have some chances, but I think the Caps really did a nice job. When you're getting Bernie Nichols to take those shots, right at that point, he's got a great shot, but you also know how good he is around the net. I'll let him take those shots if I'm Terry Murray from out at that distance.
Well, we'll find out shortly what's happening in the goaltending situation now as we visit downstairs with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. Still no official word from the Washington Capitals. We are expecting that word at any time now, but I think at this point it appears as if we've seen the last of Don Beaupre, at least for tonight's hockey game. So we are standing by, and we'll get that word to you here on Home Team Sports as soon as official word is made available. Right now, teams are back on the ice. We're set to go with period number 2. Let's return to Mike Fornes at Al Coker.
I cannot imagine, Al, any circumstance that would allow Beaupre to return later in this game now that he has not returned after being out for almost a whole period. I can't imagine any procedure that could be performed downstairs medically that they would do that would have gotten him back into this game or even gotten him back onto the bench. I'm presuming he's gone for the night.
I would think that's got to be the case, and as our scenario we talked about, getting somebody from Baltimore, and obviously they'll move Sean Simpson, if that's the case, down to the backup position on the Baltimore bench. And Jim Rivnak, I'm guessing, would be in goal for Baltimore because he's coming off a shutout game the other night in that 2-0 victory the Skipjacks had over Rochester. So possibly Bob Mason would be on his way down. You'd want a backup with some NHL experience. Well, the Capitals, with this 4-1 lead, now they've got to just concentrate, play some good defense. The Rangers are going to have to be gambling, have to open things up, and the Capitals could be able to counterattack and get some efforts. And all the other thing, too, this is going to have to be a more disciplined period, I think, from both sides, because both teams have got to realize how tight Don Koharski is calling things. He's not letting any craziness get started.
This will be an icing call to start things off in the period as Stevens hustles back to get the puck, and the face-off will return again to the Ranger zone.
Scott Stevens coming in tied for second overall in team scoring with 2 goals and 5 assists. Had 2 key power play assists. Really the man who made those power play goals click the other night for the Washington Capitals at Madison Square Garden. But Scott Stevens also in the penalty box quite a bit in that first period with 3 minor penalties. Actually with the 3 minor penalties.
The Rangers begin the period here at full strength as the calls to Millette expired at the end of period 1. Here's a shot on goal, and Liut makes a save, and the rebound cleared by Ridley all the way out to center ice for Miller. Into the skates of Leach. Leach gets across the line, but Lindy Ruff ties him up, and now it's cleared by the goalkeeper, Richter, out to the blue line. Ridley keeps it in. He's toppled to the ice. Miller jumping to try and avoid a Ranger lying down on the job, and now the puck cleared up the boards, and here is Ridley back to the point. Scott Stevens, a slap shot, hit a skate, and the rebound cleared out of there, and Nichols guides it ahead to center. Bernie Nichols at the blue line, tosses it into the corner. Here goes Millette back to take it. And it gets away from Bloomberg now and sails all the way down. This will be another icing call as Bloomberg touches. And out of the last penalties to Millette, once Stevens came back on the ice, there were 2 minutes and 50 seconds of power play time that Washington finished out the end of the first period in control with the power play. They did not get a single shot on goal during those 2 minutes and 50 seconds to end the period.
They ended up with 2 goals on 6 power play attempts. The Rangers 0 for 4. Correction, Scott Stevens had 4 minor penalties in that first period. And Jeff Courtnall had 4 shots on goal, as did John Druce. Druce, of course, coming away with 2 goals, Courtnall with 1. 16 count. Again, I guess it just goes to show you, watch these games and you think you can expect what's going to happen. It's been the physical game I expected, but I thought it was going to be a situation where maybe a 1-0 lead, 1-1 lead, 1-1 game after the first period. I didn't think it would continue to be as wide open as it was in those first 2 games at Madison Square Garden.
Here's a slap shot by Bloomberg, blocked the rebound, and Ogrodnik got it upstairs on a deflection, but Liut was able to make the glove save.
But Dale Hunter, I think, Mike, is going to get a minor penalty for holding. And once again, the New York Rangers coming out with some fire to start the period, forcing the Capitals into a penalty right here. Mike Liut looking sharp here as it changes direction before it even gets to him, and Ogrodnik steps in and fires a cannon. Liut has it bounce off the body and up, but down to the left corner of your screen, you see where Dale Hunter has taken his man down. We'll be back for the New York Ranger power play after these messages.
So, Gary, tell me, is it true? If I drive an Acura, will I buy an Acura?
Hey, come on, look, I've driven them all, and nothing comes close to the Acura. But don't get me started about this car. You'll never believe it until you really drive one. Told you so.
Be careful, because if you drive the Acura, you're going to buy the Acura. The car sells itself.
The Rangers with a power play opportunity. They'll have the face-off to the front and left of Mike Liuk. Little repair done on the ice in front, I think, of Mike Liuk. Wayne Bonney, Todd Langway getting down to try and fill up a little bit of a hole. That Ranger power play has had a pretty fair amount of time in the Capital zone. 6 shots and 1 shorthanded goal against them. So it's the Capital specialty teams, the story again in this contest so far.
Here's Rob Murray clearing out of the zone to ease the pressure, and Turcotte backs up to center ice. Over to James Patrick. Patrick trying to center, but John Druce takes it away. Here comes Druce for the Capitals. Leads it ahead for Murray, and it gets away behind him. And Turcotte goes on into his own zone now to take it. Darren Turcotte up to center ice. Fires into the Washington zone. Mike Ridley to the corner. Kelly Kissio takes over for New York. Up the boards, cleared by Hatcher all the way down. Still a minute 15 remaining on the Capitals penalty to Dale Hunter. Rangers dump it in and again start to press, but Langway gets there and angles it off the glass all the way down the ice.
That's really forcing the Rangers here to dump it in, and one of the things at the Capitol Center, you get some very dead boards in those corners, and when you dump it in, the puck doesn't come flying back to you. It really allows for a team who likes to force the opposition into a dump in and chase type of game. A real advantage. Rod Langway there was the beneficiary.
Here's Moeller, has to scramble back into his own corner. Kelly Miller, the lone man into forecheck. Allows Moeller to come out. Now over to Bernie Nichols, and he gets trapped by Ridley. Back to Moeller. Rangers finally exit the zone, and out it comes to Nichols to the Washington blue line. Over to Gartner, his wrist shot. Blocked and cleared by Miller all the way down the ice. Nichols up to the blue line for Millette. Millette hit by Rouse on the play. Everybody staying on their skates. Here's Millette. Chased, it comes in front of the net and taken by Scott Stevens. Out to John Druce with 2 goals in the game. Tries to give it to Hunter. Hunter jammed up. Druce with a 3-point evening going already after the first period alone. Here's Hunter centering, and Berglund a slap shot. Richter makes the save and covers up.
That was a big penalty kill, Mike. The Capitals did not give the Rangers that shot in the arm they needed with an early score to start off the second period. Caps again continue to be very aggressive, taking away the Ranger point man as much as possible. And Tim Berglund, John Druce getting plenty of ice time, along with Kelly Miller and Mike Ridley as the penalty killing forwards. Rob Murray had an early shift. And then Tim Berglund coming down as the penalty expired, getting set up off the top of that face-off circle. Drills a hard shot into Mike Richter's midsection.
Now it'll be John Tucker leaning in to work the face-off here against Mark Janssens. He wins it back to Johansson, and it's deflected by Richter up into the crowd. Richter kind of helped that one along with his blocker.
Well, Calle Johansson, I think, as this series has started to go on a little more, is really starting to take charge back there and getting a lot of good shots on goal. He was the man who put that hard shot on goal the other night that forced Van Beesbrook into a sprawling save and allowed Mike Ridley to get the Cap started.
Here's a skate save by Richter as Joyce got up a quick shot, and the puck cleared up the boards for Tucker. John Tucker into the corner to Bob Joyce. Joyce checked on the play, and Tucker tries to work it loose. Bloomberg into battle with Tucker, hangs on to him, and now Tucker centers it, but nobody there, only Janssens, and he takes it back into the corner. Hangs on with Johansson. Joyce takes a spill. The puck cleared, but Tucker keeps it in. Tucker walking in, firing a shot, and goal! On the deflection rebound. Calle
the Capitals certainly weren't conservative here with Johansson pinching down deep, but the Rangers had an opportunity to break out of the zone. The Caps kept it in. Tucker turns around. Instead of passing the puck initially, he moves in towards that slot. Johansson was trapped down deep, but turns around and gets to the front of the net. He's behind all the New York Ranger defensemen, and when Tucker put that shot on goal, Richter put the rebound right back out to where Calle Johansson could bang it in off the post to give the Caps the 4-goal lead.
First of the playoffs for Johansson. Tucker gets the assist at 4:14. Here's a collision in front of the Washington goal. Liut is in the net with Rupp, and the puck cleared ahead to Kypreos. Nick Kypreos across the line. Battles, gives to Almay. His drive just wide of the net on the rebound as Kypreos got off a shot from right next to the goal in the goal crease area. Now Kissio starts back. Stolen puck. Here comes Rob Murray. Murray in across the blue line. Inside the Ranger zone. Fires, but it's deflected into the corner. And now we get a whistle. And play is called with 15 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the second period. Here's Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. We now have official word on the extent of the injury to Don Beaupre. He has a pulled groin. He will be reevaluated tomorrow. Obviously, he will not get back in this hockey game this evening, and the hope is that Mike Liut can remain healthy here and keep the Capitals in the hockey game. As far as the out-of-town scoreboard, the Adams Division final, Boston now ahead of Montreal by a score of 4-2. Patrick Roy has been replaced in the nets. On now has been Brian Hayward, given the call by the Montreal Canadiens. He's in the nets. The Bruins lead the series 2-0 and are again leading in tonight's hockey game. Back upstairs to Mike and Al.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Well, here's the value of having a veteran like Mike Liut there to come in this situation. But just seeing that injury, I didn't think it would be a groin pull.
Here's Stevens with a blast, and it's caught by Richter. And now Kypreos drops the gloves as he gets roughed up by Moeller right in front of the net. And so far, it's just a wrestling match. Now, Moeller gets a hand loose and tries to throw some punches, but Kypreos gets that left arm swinging, and he connects with a big left, and now Moeller tries to throw the right hand. And they collide against the boards, and the linesmen are ready to move in and break this one up. But so far, no clear-cut advantage for either player, and Kypreos is going to try and throw some more if he can get away. And there he got a left hand in on Moeller. Had his right hand stuck in the sleeve of his sweater and can't get it loose. And now Ron Finn and Wayne Bonney have had enough, so they lean in and break them up, and it's settled peaceably enough. Both players were tired and ready to let go. But Kypreos got in some pretty good shots there against Randy Moeller.
And Randy Moeller, a very tough, strong player, good fighter. One of Neil Smith's quieter, but I think very valuable pickups at the start of the year, getting a guy like Randy Moeller in a trade for Michel Petit at the very start of the season. We'll be back for the penalty calls when we continue here on Home Team Sports.
Advantage Jeep vehicles. Others copy, none compare. Advantage Eagle. New looks in performing art. Advantage Savings. Guaranteed cash back on Jeep Cherokees. New Eagle Premieres. Hot new Eagle Challenge. And Jeep Wranglers. During the Guaranteed Advantage Sellathon, the only advantage you don't have is time.
See your National Capital Area Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can expect the best.
Nick Kypreos and Randy Moeller get 5 minutes each for fighting at 4:58. This is simply Moeller trying to protect his goaltender, not letting Kypreos jam in there as he was doing. Those gloves came off pretty quickly on that exchange.
Here's a slap shot by Hatcher. That's deflected back into the corner. 5-minute fighting majors. No power play for either side as a result. Washington leads 5-1. 14:48 to play here in the second period of this game at the Capitol Center. Mike Forens with Al Koken and Jeff Rimmer here on Home Team Sports. Kelly Miller flips it back inside. Ranger ice. Jeff Bloomberg stick handles to his own line. Now up to Nichols at center. Nichols across the Washington line. Tied up by Langway, and the puck cleared off the boards by Ridley out to Leach. Leach to Ridley. Back to Steve Leach. Here's Leach across the line. Sends it wide of the goal. And now Nichols over to pick it up. Up on the right wing to Patrick. Patrick back in the Washington zone, and Scott Stevens is there to take it. Left side, Courtnall, 2-on-1 with Druce. A pass, and it's knocked down in front. On the rebound, Richter makes a save. And dives across the goal mouth to do it. Hunter escorted from the goal mouth by Wayne Bonney, and Hunter had his stick held up high. But Richter did a marvelous job there of stopping a 2-on-1 break.
Well, James Patrick came up trying to push the attack at the other end, but instead of dumping it in, he tried to make the play. The Caps picked it off and got it back 2-on-1 the other way. And Mike Richter comes up with some of his best work of the night on that 2-on-1 with Courtnall and Druce. Here's Scott Stevens picking off that play as Patrick doesn't get it in deep. Courtnall comes back, looks up, tries to find Druce, slides it over there, and Richter is there to beat the puck before Druce can get it.
Last year, back and forth between Baltimore and the Washington Capitals. And the other night at Madison Square Garden gets his first hat trick since back in midget hockey. John Druce for 3 goals in that game. Here's one off the goalpost, and now Ogrodnik over to Bloomberg as the Capitals nearly got their 6th goal of the evening. Ogrodnik across the line. Back to Kissio. Chased by Rouse. The puck goes in behind the net. Here's Ogrodnik. Pinned by Stevens, and the clearing pass comes all the way down the ice. For somebody who can skate and score goals like John Druce, I would have thought he would have had a 3-goal effort since midget hockey at some point along the line. But not so, he tells us. Here's a shot that's deflected wide. Druce into the corner and clears it off the boards all the way down.
Well, in junior hockey, he played a defensive role from that Peterborough team. In fact, was a line mate with Rob Murray. A Peterborough team under Dick Todd, generally a very defensive-oriented club to begin with. But he was asked to be a real key checker on that club, and that's the type of role you don't get a lot of great scoring opportunities on. But he's got them now, and he's making the most of them.
On the right wing, here comes Chris King trying to charge the net, but he's chased by Johansson behind the goal. And now Tucker clears it up to Berglund. He slaps it off the boards. James Patrick back after it. Bob Joyce works it loose. Here's Joyce turning it around. Sends it right on net. Richter made the save. Kept in by Tucker. He delivers to the other corner, and Lindy Ruff is back after it. Berglund check. The puck comes out of the zone. Hatcher sends it right across the line, and is hit by Ruff. Patrick and Tucker collide in the corner. Alan May over to get it. Put behind the goal, and here's Ruff to chase it. And Ruff starts to center. He gives to Turcotte. Turcotte across the line. Wrist shot blocked by Langway. Langway behind the net. Starts ahead to Courtnall. Courtnall up with Rob Murray. His stick held as he crosses the line by Erickson. And now back into the corner again. Here's Rochefort for the Rangers. Plays it back to the right point. Kept in by Sheehy. Poked out of the zone. And Langway picks it up at center ice. Langway carries across the line. Throws it in behind the net. Rob Murray takes a spill. May goes to the corner after it. Courtnall fishes it out. Back to Murray. A shot. Saved by Richter. A good shot by Alan May, but Richter came up with a better save.
You know, it's one thing if we talk about the Ridley line, the Hunter line dominating, but look at the lines right now in the second period, Mike, that are dominating for the Capitals. It's their 3rd and 4th lines, centered by Tucker and centered by Rob Murray. They're out-battling the New York Ranger lines at every opportunity. And right now, I can't think of a line for the Capitals that's been out there that really hasn't at least had an equal opportunity, if not a better chance against their Ranger counterparts. And when you can go 4 deep and dominate with 4 lines, as opposed to just getting all your effort from 2, that's why the Capitals are sitting there with a 5-1 lead in this hockey game. Everybody playing with emotion, everybody sacrificing the body, doing all the dirty work, and beating the Ranger people to the puck along the boards and in the corners.
Here's Rouse chasing into the corner and is bumped there by Rochefort. and the puck cleared off the glass and all the way back inside the Washington zone. Caps have doubled the output of New York in the shot department, 26-13, and they lead them on the scoreboard 5-1 with 11 minutes to play here in the second period. Kelly Miller chased by Rochefort into the corner. Erickson tries to work it free, and now here's Leach. Held up in the corner by Bloomberg. Ridley chases it to the point, kept in there by Scott Stevens. He walks in. Stevens trying to keep control as Bloomberg was right on him. Miller at the point helps out by covering for Scott Stevens and puts it back in the Ranger zone. Now it's cleared to center. This is Rouse from the red line. Back inside the New York end, in behind the goal. And taken by Kerry Wilson. Out to center, off the stick of Bob Joyce. Up for Berglund on the left wing. Here's Berglund across the line. Centers it for Joyce, but he's checked by Rochefort. In the corner, Nichols gets roughed up by Berglund. Nichols with the puck, still trying to skate free, and now has some open ice as he moves to center. Here's Nichols across the blue line. Throws it past Langway into the corner. Road blocked by Liut behind the net. He leaves it there for Sheehy. Neil Sheehy overskates it off a stick, and Ogrodnik loses control. Here's Langway ahead for Joyce. Bob Joyce across the line. Drop pass. Tucker fires. Richter the save. Rebound shot. Another save. And the puck comes loose right in front of the net. And the Rangers control. Here's Kissio. Back into the Washington zone. And Ogrodnik forced to back up to his own line.
Again, because Kissio refused to dump it down there, trying to make the fancy pass, and it loses the Rangers an opportunity in the offensive zone.
Out to center ice is Kissio to Ogrodnik. Now Ogrodnik back into the Washington zone. Here's Ogrodnik, left side, walking in. Patrick stolen by Kortnall and played to center. Rochefort. Taken by Scott Stevens to Kortnall. Kortnall across the line. Tried to drop a pass off, and Kissio takes over for the Rangers. 8:55 to play in the second period. Washington on top, 5-1. Stevens jams up in the corner. At the right point, here's Bloomberg throwing it back into the corner where Stevens is being held up as he tries to pin his opponent. They battle, and finally Hunter breaks loose and leads it out to John Druce. Druce on the loose to the blue line and tries to feed Kortnall, but the play broken up and sent back deeper into Ranger ice. Lindy Rupp over to Bloomberg. Rouse back into his own end. Gartner steals, tries to wrap it around, but it's wide of the goal. Now a shot on net, Liut the save, rebound, picked up by Murray, and he sends it ahead for Kortnall. Right to Johansson. Johansson across the line, 3-on-1. Rouse a shot, saved by Richter. Big save by Richter as the Caps put together a 3-on-1 break off a marvelous play by Jeff Kortnall in the neutral zone.
If you're searching for great oldies on the radio, the search ends here.
Extra 104, now with 10 great oldies in a row.
Extra 104 is the only Washington radio station that gives you great oldies all the time. Great oldies from the 60s, back-to-back, non-stop. So, for your favorite oldies anytime, remember, set a button on your radio to 104.1 FM. Extra 104, great oldies all the time.
You know, it's kind of tough to commend a goaltender who's letting 5 goals in just a little more than half a hockey game for doing a good job, but Mike Richter has. I mean, he's been unbelievably attacked by the Washington Capitals and has had to come up again with some key saves here. The Caps up 5-1, but it easily could be at least 3 or 4 more on the board without some of the good saves that Mike Richter has made as this game has gone on. But the dominating performance by the Capitals, just not content to hang back, they really continue to push the attack and counterattack when they get the New York Rangers out of position.
Langway a drive from the point. That's stopped by Richter. And now Miller in the corner goes after it. Greshner tries to tie him up. Here's Kelly Miller. Works it loose at the side of the net. Leach, a backhand shot. And it's knocked down, and finally Greshner helps cover up outside the goal crease.
You know, if this is not a great indication of just how good the Capitals are playing against the New York Rangers behind the Ranger net, you've got veterans in Randy Moeller and Ron Grescher, and look how this puck is taken over by the Washington Capitals. Strength of Stephen Leach, the strength of Kelly Miller. One of the things the Capitals have done over the years is they have gotten stronger, they have gotten bigger, and particularly when you look at their fourth line and some of the rookies playing key roles right now, they have gotten much younger. And that is a dynamite combination to get going. But when you've got a battle against two strong veterans and you come walking out from that corner with a quality scoring opportunity, that is how the Capitals have been taking it to the Rangers all night long.
No question about the effort that Washington has had, and it certainly is playoff hockey. And what a pace they've set in this game. Hatcher clears it all the way down, back inside the Ranger zone. The puck cleared off the right wing boards out to center ice, and Hatcher keeps it in. Randy Moeller up to Nichols, intercepted by Langway. Langway feeds for Joyce, but it's taken away by Erickson. Back to the blue line for Nichols, and Joyce loses it now to Broughton. Paul Broughton, wrist shot wide into the corner. Nichols back to take it. Off the side of the net, picked up by Liut with his pad. He kicks it ahead, and now here comes Bob Joyce to center. He dumps it back inside the Ranger zone. The puck cleared off the boards and all the way out to center, and Joyce bowling over Nichols, his opponent. Here comes Bob Joyce, walking in, wrist shot, blocked by Richter, and the rebound led halfway up here, out of play.
What an effort to try and get things shaken up. Roger Nielsen has made a couple changes with putting Nichols out there between Paul Broughton and Jan Erickson. We'll see if further changes come their way. Let's check in with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Al. Let's get everybody caught up to date on the Washington Post scoreboard. Adams Division final. Boston well in front in this one. They now lead by 3. Carter, Bourque, and Propp. In fact, Carter scored a second goal. We're awaiting word on the 5th goal. 5-2 now, and it is Gilchrist and Courtnall that have scored for Montreal. Orioles out to an early lead, 6-1 in the 4th inning at Memorial Stadium. Remember, on Home Team Sports tomorrow night, we've got Orioles baseball against the world champion Oakland A's for you, beginning with the John Davis Orioles report, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, right here on Home Team Sports. Back upstairs.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Well, Kissio, Ogrodnik, and Mullen continue to play as a forward line. Those guys certainly with a hot line at the end of the season for the Rangers.
Scott Stevens tries to center the puck, but it comes over to John Ogrodnik. Ogrodnik out to center ice. Now to the Washington line. Leads it right side for Brian Mullen. Mullen, a wrist shot, knocked down by Stevens, and Stevens starts back on the rush for the Capitals. Up to John Druce. Druce drops the pass off for Courtnall. Back to Druce in the corner, behind the net. Druce trying to center it. And it's off the skate of Mullen, but intercepted by Hunter. Dale Hunter to Jeff Courtnall. Courtnall back over to Hunter. And Hunter goes into the corner, couldn't get the puck, and now is hit by Bloomberg. And back come the Rangers. Druce gets hit right in front of the Washington, or throws a hit against Ogrodnik right in front of the Washington bench. Here's Stevens back in his own zone. Tied up by Mullen. Hunter, a hit from Millette. The puck comes out to Stevens. Long lead past Courtnall. Here comes Courtnall across the blue line, and he's held up on the play, and there's going to be a penalty. Lindy Rupp held him up just enough. Washington will get the power play as Rupp is sent to the box for holding. Time of the call, 14:30.
Well, Jeff Courtnall was dog-tired, and when he put on the brakes and spun, he was a bit out of control. Rupp had the hands on him. And Don Koharski makes that call, and I think Lindy Rupp maybe got a little right to be upset. He certainly had contact with him and had the arms on him, but when Courtnall put on the brakes, it really looked like he was a little bit out of position anyway. But it works to the advantage of the Capitals for another power play opportunity with 5:30 left to go in this game with a 5-1 lead.
Lindy Ruff, one of a number of former Buffalo Sabres playing in this game. The Caps have a couple in John Tucker and Calle Johansson. Ridley leans in, wins the faceoff. Back to Stevens, a slap shot that's deflected up high and wide off the glass. At the point, Kevin Hatcher has it knocked down by James Patrick. Here come the Rangers on the attack. 2-on-2. Erickson to the blue line. Leads it over to Patrick. Takes it behind the net. And Ridley starts out from the corner. Backs it up for Scott Stevens. Stevens guides the pass ahead now for Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher across the blue line. Inside Ranger ice. Power play hockey for Washington. Here's Stevens, a wrist shot off the skate of Patrick. Back to Bob Joyce. Joyce into the corner. Now over to Mike Ridley. Again to Bob Joyce. Couldn't get it centered, and James Patrick clears it all the way back to the Washington zone. Picked up at the blue line by Hatcher. Hatcher carries it in. The Capitals have changed lines. Here's Druce taking it behind the net. Druce absorbs a hit, keeps going with the puck. Brings it back to Dale Hunter. Now at the point, Johansson. Right side, Hatcher. Wrist shot caught by Richter. And he holds on to stop play with 4:19 remaining in the second period of a game that has seen the Capitals lose Don Beaupre 3 minutes 16 seconds into it. Michael Pivonka during the warm-up. Before the warm-up started, Dino Ciccarelli as well out of the lineup in this contest. And despite all those injury woes, they have totally dominated the New York Rangers in this contest.
You know, we talked about it at the start of the broadcast, how teams sometimes really rally, gather around each other, pick up each other's play when they feel they've got some key injuries out, and I think that's been a classic case for the Capitals. Everybody has come out and certainly has played every way they possibly could. Vice President of the United States, Dan Quayle, watching with his sons tonight. I know the Quayle kids are big hockey fans. Vice President, of course, a big golf fan. They're seeing a good one. Just looking at John Druce also now, just the way he is handling the puck in traffic now. I think that's a great indication of a confidence of a player now. The way he is holding on, looking to make plays as opposed to just get rid of it and not make any mistakes.
Here's Johansson, now back to Druce, back to Johansson at the point. Druce into the corner, gives it to Dale Hunter. Back to the blue line again for Johansson. Calle Johansson sets up. 25 seconds left on the power play. The puck goes over to Courtnall. Behind the net to Druce. Druce back of the goal to Hunter. Off Courtnall's stick. And kicked away by Greshner back to center. Time for one more rush. As Druce takes it to his own line. Now leads it ahead, just about sprung Johansson free. And the puck cleared all the way down by Richter. Stopped at center ice by Sheehy. Sheehy has to hustle back as Kissio breaks to the line. Here's Mullen, a shot, lost his stick. And the rebound walks just wide of the net. Out come the Capitals. The Rangers are at full strength. Courtnall, right side for Hunter. Hunter has it taken away. Lindy Rupp, just out of the penalty box. Inside the Washington zone. Rob Murray plays it out to center. Bloomberg ties him up, and Kyprios hangs on as well. Finally, Langway gets in there, and they have frozen the puck, and play is called with 2:57 left in the second period.
Only at Capital Cadillac can you experience the Capital commitment, featuring lifetime lubrication, oil, and filter change with the purchase of your new Cadillac. Capital Cadillac, located on the Capital Beltway, exit 23 in Greenbelt, Maryland. Well, Mike Gartner now up there with Darren Turcotte at center ice and Troy Millette on the left wing side. The linesmen now have to get in between May and Millette. Dino Ciccarelli, can't say it's the best seat in the house, but it's certainly a spot in the house. And with Dino's picture being flashed up on Telscreen here at the Capitol Center, this is the crowd reaction.
They are standing up. Many of the people have started to stand up and cheer. And if that doesn't get the Capitals fired up, they are beginning to stand and cheer here in this building for the injured Dino Ciccarelli.
Now, apparently, Alan May and Troy Millette have been given at least misconduct calls with 2:57 left to go. Those two were jawing at each other, getting in position at that face-off. The linesman got between them. Apparently, they didn't stop enough.
Washington, number 16, Alan May. Each received 10-minute misconduct at 17:03. New York number 56 Florida, Washington number 16 Alan May. They each receive a 10-minute misconduct.
Misconduct are the calls for Alan May and Troy Millette.
Well, that would bring those players back with about 12 minutes or so remaining, 13 minutes remaining in the third period. But they're gone for the rest of this period, so they head right to the dressing room. And Turcotte is out there now. They're showing the time remaining, 2:57.
And Mike, on the Ranger bench, Roger Nielsen was all the way on the corner of the Ranger bench, right where John Van Beesbrook is set up. And he was standing on the boards, leaning over, yelling at Don Koharski.
Bloomberg dumps it back inside the Washington zone, and here's Langway back to get it. Langway parked behind the goal for a moment, now starts out with a right wing pass. Sheehy to center ice. Here comes Kelly Miller, flipping it across the line, back into the corner of the Ranger zone, and Leach gets bumped by Bloomberg. Kissio hit, back to the point, deflection. Miller turning a shot by Sheehy just wide of the goal. And the puck rising over the glass now and into the seats.
Dino Ciccarelli, like Kelly Miller, papa of a new baby girl. Kelly and Shelby Miller had a daughter a little earlier in the season, and what a scene that must have been, Mike, with Dino Ciccarelli on crutches, his wife Linda trying to get up to the hospital, having labor, starting labor a few days early, with Dino in pain because of his knee, on the crutches, trying to hobble into the van, help Linda there. A comic scene that had to be.
What a wild, wild period of time that had to have gone on to have all those things transpire. Imagine how the stress levels were in that household. You can imagine somebody in the hospital mistaking Dino for a patient.
When he comes in the crutches, they go to him first before his wife.
Trying to keep him out of the maternity room, saying, no, no, sir, you've got to be down the hall here in orthopedics. Ruff collides with Stevens at the blue line. And now it's played back to center. Ruff over to Patrick. And shifted again back inside the Washington zone. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the second period. Capitals in control 5-1. Scott Stevens, left side for Courtnall. Out to center ice. Taken over by James Patrick. Patrick right side Kissio and picked off by Hunter, and he clears it ahead for Courtnall, who has a break. Courtnall tripped up. That could be a penalty shot. So far it's just tripping. I thought Courtnall was all the way in the clear, and Don Koharski disagrees, but there are 5 qualifications that have to be met for a penalty shot. And let's see how many of them are met here. It's the other side of center ice. Courtnall is alone, has no one to pass. I think that's a penalty shot, Al.
I agree with you, Mike. Over center ice, no one else to pass. Over that blue line in control of the puck. Had a scoring opportunity denied to him. And caught from behind. And I think that is the final criteria that Don Koharski says didn't match up. That he was caught more from the side than directly from behind, and I disagree. I say he's definitely caught from behind.
He's headed for that net, and he's tripped up from behind and had nobody else to pass, and that should be a penalty shot. It's only a penalty call here that'll give the Caps a chance to score, and if they do, they won't worry much about being denied the opportunity to see Courtnall go in alone on Richter. Scott Stevens ahead to Ridley, pop back to center ice. Now over to Kevin Hatcher. Right side for Joyce. Stevens throws a hit, and the puck comes loose, and here comes Joyce to center.
Rochefort bumps it off the boards. We're in the final minute of play in the period. Scott Stevens leads it ahead for Leach. Steve Leach across the blue line, walking in, slams on the brakes, held up on the play. And Hatcher has to come in and get the puck. Here's Kevin Hatcher over to the corner man, Mike Ridley. Ridley to Hatcher, slap shot, stick save made by Richter. Turnaround drive by Stevens. A soft effort, hoping for someone to direct it. And Richter makes easy work of that with 37 seconds to go in the period.
Well, is Kevin Hatcher having an amazing series? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, when Stephen Leach stopped, tried to spin and try and get that puck, who gets the loose puck? Coming in all the way from the neutral zone, where he had started that play with a pass to Scott Stevens. He is flying, he's keeping his legs moving, getting those skates going, not striding, continuing to skate hard, and Kevin Hatcher has been a dominating player on the Capitals blue line. 37 seconds left to go in this second period with the Capitals on top by 4 at 5-1. Face-off for the Capital power play. In the Ranger end, Hunter, Druce, Courtnall, Stevens, and Hatcher working with Blumberg, Turcotte, Mike Gartner, and Lindy Ruff penalty killing for the Rangers.
Here's Scott Stevens back at the point over to John Druce. Druce backs it up behind the goal now to Hunter. And again over to Druce. Druce out to Stevens. Settles down, a bouncing puck, fires. Richter makes the save. And now Gartner steals it in the corner. Here's Mike Gartner up the boards. Kept in by the Capitals' Kevin Hatcher. Over to Stevens, a slap shot. Deflected wide by Turcotte. Back to the point again. Hatcher, 7 seconds to go in the period. Courtnall centers it. Richter diving across. Does the splits. And makes the save. And now Stevens has some words with Richter.
And Dale Hunter and Blumberg tied up with Hunter's helmet coming off.
Only 2 seconds to go in this period. There will be 31 seconds remaining in the Greshner penalty when we return for the third period. Both teams are changing up the lines now. And there will be a face-off inside the Ranger zone. And still a chance here. Yes, they will get Mike Liut off the ice and put out a sixth attacker and see if the Capitals can't work some kind of a set play here from this draw with Liut on the bench and an extra skater on, figuring that the Rangers could not possibly get the puck all the way down the ice into the empty Washington net with only 2 seconds to go. Hunter is out there, so is Druce, Stevens. Nick Kyprios playing a prominent role in this. He'll line up opposite Randy Moeller. They're going to try and bring the puck back to Courtnall.
I think
it'll come to Hatcher and then to Courtnall.
Right, it'll go to Hatcher, then Courtnall. And now apparently somebody's getting a bench minor.
Looked like Koharski was pointing to the Ranger bench.
I think
no, it's Washington's bench, and Sheehy has been kicked out.
A 10-minute misconduct at 1958.
Sheehy gets 10. And we won't see him till halfway through the third period as well. So some verbal abuse, no doubt, from the Washington bench for referee Don Koharski. Hunter will try to bring it to Hatcher, and then the pass over to Courtnall. He'll just wind up and slap it on the fly. But the Rangers win the draw, so that nullifies everything there, and we finish the period. Shots on goal in period 2, only 6 for New York, 16 after 2 periods for the Rangers, and for Washington, 19 shots on goal, and 35 so far after 40 minutes of play. Only one scoring play, and that was Kalle Johansson's goal, his first of the playoffs, but it gives the Capitals a 5-1 domination over the New York Rangers after 2. More live exclusive Stanley Cup playoff action coming your way after these messages right here on the Home Team Sports Television Network.